Hello, ladies, blokes, and non-binary folks. It's Ant here, and today we're talking about TFN 2025. I just got back yesterday. I didn't record this yesterday because it was incredibly hot. It's still incredibly hot, and now I've got lights on me, and the fan is off. Brilliant. So TFN 2025 this year, I went for the whole weekend, which I don't normally do. Normally, I just go Friday, Saturday and do that. Last year I did ClubCon for the first time, and this year I thought, you know what, take the plunge, do the whole weekend, do Sunday as well, bit more chill. How was it this year? Pretty great. It was a bit of a quieter situation, I would say. It wasn't as busy as last year in terms of just constant people everywhere in the hall for the whole day, which was good because last year, I don't know if you recall when I did the video, I basically said I found it very stressful in the hall in the morning up until about midday. This year, that sort of eased off a little bit by halfway through the day, which is good. I know there's quite a few people who just kind of, got there, got what they wanted, and went. So yeah, a little bit less stressful this year. So what happened? Friday, arrived there midday, got there nice and early, sorted out my rooms, which, like, when I booked my room earlier in the year, I couldn't book all 3 nights in one room, so I had to do 2 nights in a king room and then 1 night in a single, but the people at the Hilton sorted it out for me. Had the same room for the whole weekend. Just had to go get the carded. Get the key card fixed so it'd work on the door on the last day. But what they didn't tell me is that on my last day, which was a separate booking, didn't include breakfast. So that was like an 18 quid I had to pay for breakfast. The price of stuff at the Hilton Metropole and the surrounding area is going to be the sort of thing you'll hear people talking about a lot when they do these videos. 5 quid for a Coke. 5 quid for a pint of Coke. And it's not worth getting a half pint because it's still like 3-4 quid. You might as well get a pint. So it was a good weekend. I hung out with a bunch of the usual guys. Usually every year, hang out with JSpace 10. I need to get stuff out of my arts and crafts bag. I'll show you in a minute though when we do the pickups. But all the arty stuff that I picked up. But JSpace made some name tags for us and all the other guys that we hang out with there. Bunch of cool dudes. We sort of hang out and chat Transformers and drink some stuff, and like every year just hang out. That's my little core group when I'm there. But this year was a lot of chatting to other people. I tend to not do a great job of chatting to other people, to be honest. But this year I sat having drinks with Lucan from Lucan Teas. That QR code you can't scan it. I've tried so many times to make it so you can scan that QR code. But yeah, chatted with Lucan for a while, having drinks with him. Few came over, had a chat with him for a while. Yeah, chatted with Liam and J Swags from Triple Takeover. Just a bunch of guys and a bunch of cool dudes. Just in general, other people. And probably mention them as we go through. But there's a whole bunch of people I met who I know from online. Q Prime, he got involved in last year's Thunderclash comic. He likes cassette bots and stuff. Chatted to him a fair few times. Who else was there? My brain is bad at remembering these things. So it was a good time. Let's talk about panels. So I didn't do a ton of panels this year, but I, did the opening and closing ceremony stuff, did ClubCon. During the day on Friday, just caught the Triple Takeover panel, the Toy Food panel, talking about, how they acquire their figures and all this sort of stuff, how much money they've made for charity over the years. They were aiming to get $250,000, which, will they make it? I'll talk about it in the final part, maybe, in the closing ceremony. There was a panel with Marcelo Mater. Marcelo Mater. There was a panel with Marcelo Mater. He's a box artist for Transformers mostly nowadays. That's what he's sort of most known for now, but he used to do, Dreamwave Comics art, and he's done covers and all sorts of stuff. Hasbro must like him a lot because they just seem to just trust him to do whatever. Like, he did the box art for Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, and he spoke about... he had 2 panels. He had one which was just generally comic book stuff and how he got into it, one that was about box art. But during the box art one, he was talking about how they had an original idea for the design. They wanted a truck mode on the front of the box and stuff, and he was like, can I do it as like a transformation, make it a bit more impactful? And it's one of the best box arts they've done in recent years, that. It's fantastic. It was really good to see him talking about stuff. He's like, super enthusiastic. Especially, because he comes from Brazil, and if you know your Transformers collecting, there's a lot of weirdness with Transformers stuff in Brazil. Loads of unique colours. Loads of the mini bots was like they had tons of the mini bots in all sorts of colours, all officially licensed, released with like green cliff jumpers and stuff like that. I saw one of them at the con. Someone had one for sale for a lot of money. I didn't buy it, but yeah, he was great to talk to on the panel. Didn't actually do that many panels this year. There was I went back and forth on a couple of them. Because mostly I was in the hall a lot of the time or in the bar having chats. Like the main club con itself on Saturday evening, that was all. They had this Transformers Nun, they called it, where they went over. They had got hold of a script for a sort of early version of an episode for Transformers. Like the More Than Meets the Eye was basically done and ready to be shown, and they had this whole like scripts for future episodes and what the concept was, and they were trying to ship it to like CBS at the time, going on a network before they decided to do syndication and everything. So it was interesting to see that version of it, because there's no Spike Witwicky, even though he's in More Than Meets the Eye. Basically, the guy at the studio who was writing this, Jeff something, he basically had come up with his own characters and stuff. He had renamed Bumblebee, but they had a version of one episode script. A robot's best friend is a dog or something like that. I've forgotten the name. But he went over the script. Then they basically did a recording. They'd got a whole bunch of voice actors, like David Kay and the like, to do the voices for it. Used with art that had been done by Ed Peary and the like, and Andrew Turnbull, I think, as well. And they'd done concept for characters that the studio had made up to put into this, and Hasbro were like, we're not doing toys of them. But there was a panel on Sunday which went into greater detail on it about how they wanted to make Sideswipe a female character, but Hasbro were like, no, you can't have females, not especially if it's not one of our toys. So they had to make up an original character. So there was like a motorbike girl who's obsessed with Optimus Prime, and there was a quadruple changing like helicopter hovercraft like submarine girl on the Decepticon side who wanted to defeat Optimus Prime because she flipped sides. It's the whole thing. The biggest change that was crazy was like the actual just premise in total as well. But I understand Chris McFeely's putting a video out about this whole thing. It's quite wild. It's really violent as well. What they discussed. But yeah, that's another panel. That was two panels effectively. There's a cosplay contest as usual. Everyone, with incredible arts and craft skills, better than I could ever do. I wouldn't do all that anyway. But yeah, just great set of panels. Plenty of drinking in the evening. I mean, I say plenty of drinking. You don't go too wild, because if you go wild on the drinking, you're gonna be bankrupt by the end of it. Like, I had a Moving Mountains burger with a small bowl of chips and a Pepsi, and that was like £23 each time. Like, people complain about the price of Five Guys. I went to Five Guys on Sunday. It cost less. It was good times. It was good to get breakfast every day. I managed to wake up on time and go get my breakfast every day, even if I had to pay 18 quid for breakfast on the last day. It's so expensive. I was smart, and I made sure that I had snacks in my bag. So if I got hungry during the middle of the day, I could go upstairs, get myself some mini cheddars, or get myself some Rice Krispie Squares, honeycomb and chocolate flavour. They're real nice. Obviously, with the mini cheddars, I went posh and got the Red Leicester flavour. I highly recommend them both. Shall we talk about things that were picked up at the event? I guess that's something I have to do. I'm getting distracted. I'm using the right setting on my camera this time, and the auto's on, and it's popping squares up all over my face and my eyes, and it's distracting. It's distracting. I'm actually looking at the camera lens for once, though. Anyway. Folder of stuff. There is so much stuff on here that is toys, so bear with me. This whole pickup section is going to take a while. My folder. Right, so this year they had new bands. For your wristbands, ClubCon and stuff. I like to keep hold of my bands every year, but this year they're made of paper, and I get they're better for the for the environment and stuff. But I don't think people were big fans of these. When Few came over to chat at our table on Friday, he had his wristband on when he joined the queue. 10 minutes later, didn't have his wristband. It vanished. But it was a Friday. He wasn't watching the panel. Didn't really need it, did he? By the way, there was a lad terrorising us at the tables. If you're the parent of that lad, I think he lost about 6 or 7 toys over the course of that evening. He just kept coming over. He left a dragon storm at our table. He knocked the arm out of it, lost the wings. I don't know what was going on. He left it there. We left it there. I put a shout out on Blue Sky to see if anyone knew where it was. I took a hat pick at the same time. He was around everywhere. Everyone seems to have encountered him. But yeah, and he gave someone called Krisha, who I chatted to a bunch of times. I'll show you some art that Krisha did, like a star screen. So if you're that kid's parent, you're probably wondering where loads of toys went that you brought. Anyway, those are the new bands. I can't put them on my Devastator this year. They're not going to go on because this is my thing every year. I like to put my bands on Devastator. Well, yeah, that's a shame. At least I could get them off though. Here's a name badge that J Space 10 J made for a whole bunch of us. Loads of people at the convention were wearing these, to be honest. I don't know how many he made. It must have been like 50 of them or something. You may notice they've got this little red part on here, and if you get a tech spec decoder, which he did provide, it's in here somewhere. If you get the tech spec decoder and put it over there, you won't be able to see it, but it does actually say my name and on there, which is pretty cool. I doubt that's going to come up on camera at all. It might do. But yeah, that was pretty cool. That's like a pretty cool name badge. I might actually just wear that generally every day. So yeah, cheers to Jay for making that name badge. That was really cool. A guy called Dooku gave me some stickers. They say like by Dooku. Apparently that's a thing on the TFW forums. I'm not on then. Loads of people are trying to encourage me to join TFW forums, but I kind of get stressed out on forums because there's always weirdos. And when I say, I mean the ones who just love to argue non-stop about everything, and it makes my eyes roll backwards into my head and makes me upset when there's people who are just joyless types in there. I like my Blue Sky feed because I get to curate who's in there, who I see. This where's there was a postcard given to me by Graham of TF UK Guide. It's got a QR code on the back. Have a free scan on me. You can pre-order order a copy of the Universe zine. Everyone calls them zines, but it's short for magazine, fanzine. It should be zine, not zine. But anyway, that was cool. Kamen Rider 01 just fell over. I'm a little close to him right now. I was a little bit too close to him. I knocked 01 over. Sorry, Aruto. Here's some art that Krisha gave me. He's on Blue Sky and Instagram and stuff. There's all loads of little characters. There's Wild Will. The best one. He actually got me to sign a sheet he had. He had one of these, and he had on the front, he had signatures from loads of the guests. They signed what characters, they relate to. Jim Sorensen took Wild Will. I've never actually met and chatted to Jim Sorensen. I feel like I should because he walks around with a cowboy hat on all the time. But yeah, he got me to sign the back of it along with a whole ton of other people who were there. So that was cool. Raffle tickets. I got 666 for the second year in a row. Hail Satan, everybody. TM UK table, Gav Spencer's table. What did I get from there? I usually, when I buy art and stuff at TFN, it's their table that I tend to buy stuff from. A lot of the other stuff's really, really good and everyone's really talented, but loads of it is like really cutesy and stuff, and I don't do much cutesy, except for these Death's Head stickers. These are really cool. Close up. Ooh, look at them. So I've got some Death's Head stickers. They're probably going to go on my PC. I want to decorate the glass panel with stickers. I wanted to get some badges to wear on my lanyard at work, because you've got to have that. I got a Repugnus badge. Is it going to focus? I don't know. Right, I got a Repugnus badge. And I got a Juggermorph badge, If you don't know, the Juggermorph in Scotland, Transformers was called Juggermorph. Had a bit of revival recently. BMM have got the exclusive rights to a figure. An art from Gav I picked up was this lovely Galvatron Scourge Cyclonus on some really nice card. Really nice card. I need to get this framed. I've got a Wild Will that he drew up there that I've had framed for ages, but last year I got a Last Spot Standing Rodimus, and I got a Ben Peary drawing of Rodimus, and I haven't framed either of those. Should have probably done that. But isn't that lovely? I love that Galvatron. That face is brilliant. The face is sticking out there, especially Cyclonus. Good stuff. But that's probably out of focus. If I hide my face, it might be in focus. TFN Guide. got that. Is there any panels I forgot to mention that I watched? That's a really good idea. I should check this. I could have checked this before we did any of this. Oh god, that's quite good. There you go. Didn't watch the film because it was Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Well, there's Transformers 1 as well, but I watched that a few weeks ago. But I wasn't going to watch Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Oh yeah, the Matrix test this year was a bit different. It was basically a quiz between Toy Fu and the TF UK folks. It was basically a competition between them, and we had like a form to put our answers in. Dave Wallace handled it this year, but like there was no real point to us this year. None of us could get involved as much. I know a few people just sort of gave up on it. Plus, you could just change your answer as you went along because they gave out the answers as it went. I did watch the Blockies panel, but again, it was just advertising Blockies. We'll talk about Blockies in a minute. And also from the TM UK table, I got Thunderclash Gets It Together, the third of the Thunderclash comics. I got all 3 of these now. That's quite a collection, you know. I can make $1 million from them. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but getting these has got me back into collecting physical copies of comics in recent years. I've got like issue 1 of the Transformers Skybound comics with like a Batsy Power Station cover on it. I've got like the first 2 volumes collected, even though I've read them. Got Scarent Hood from Nick Roach last year, and you know, I've been collecting up the One Piece mangas recently. It's just nice to get comics in a physical form. But yeah, they've got another one coming next year. They've announced it already, but there's some really cool art inside there. I'll give you a sneak preview. Ooh. You can buy it in digital form from their Ko-fi. Right, I'm going to pack all this away, and then we're going to get them some toys. That probably just got right in the mic, didn't it? So I haven't done many collecting goals this year, video-wise. You know, I always set out some collecting goals and try to aim for them. And this year, one of them is collecting the Scan series Dark of the Moon figures. If you haven't seen them, they're a bunch of deluxe figures from the Revenge of the Fallen line, but repackaged for Dark of the Moon, that are like made entirely of clear plastic, and they're painted in a way where the front half of their vehicle mode is complete and the back half's like transparent, like it's, you know, mid-scanning their form. I picked up on Saturday Ironhide from them. He's alright looking. Only problem is, when I got home, I discovered that he has a broken hinge up here. Luckily, the piece can hold back on, but kind of hard to tell when it was in a bag, and you know, it's clear plastic. You couldn't see that in the bag to see it was broken. As soon as I started transforming him and I pulled the legs apart, I just fell out. But it was £10 from Spacebridge, so I can't complain too much. But he's a lovely looking figure. Doesn't have his weapon. They have a mech-tech weapon type thing. It's like a weapon that activates some sort of like mechanical gimmick. Sideswipe. I've got Sideswipe here. I got Sideswipe earlier this year, and his thing is he's got these blades that rotate around. They sort of move in unison with each other. I don't know how his one works, but it's supposed to plug in there. But yeah, he's wasn't too bad to transform. He's got probably the least clear plastic out of all of them, because you know all this is standard. I think the legs are entirely like there's no clear plastic there. Everything else is painted though. I mean, the arms aren't clear, so yeah, probably got the least clear plastic of all of these figures. I got chatted to a few on the Sunday, and I was telling him about collecting up the Scan series figures. It's something I've been looking for, and I got Ironhide. And he went, "Oh, I've got Ratchet. Do you want to buy it off me?" And I was like, "Nah, it's okay, man," because he sort of instantly could tell the moment he said that he realised he didn't want to sell Ratchet because he was actually one I really like. And I was like, "Yeah, keep it, man, keep it." Which is good as well, anyway, because I was going around the Toy Fu table and I got Ratchet as well, which this is quite possibly the prettiest figure I got. If I bring my face in, it like keeps it clear. But how lovely is that? This one's almost entirely clear plastic, way more than the other ones. Just the shins here and the wheels and some rubbery bits are the only bits that aren't clear plastic. But you know what? Transformation-wise, this one feels the least stressful out of the lot. He was in robot mode when I picked him up, so because I want to transport him home and make sure he goes in one piece, you know, I say in one, you know, it doesn't break into multiple pieces. I transformed him into vehicle mode because he'll be a bit more stable like that. And got him home nice and safe, transformed him back. He's lovely. One thing I do like, you can get in close, if you turn his thigh, you can see it's like metal stuff inside. I think they called that Mech Alive, didn't they, or something? But yeah, that's a really good figure, that. That's genuinely nice. I just need Bumblebee now, and I'll be able to do a video about the Scan Series figures, where I probably will not transform them during the video. I'll probably just do a show to the camera. I might keep sideswiping vehicle mode, because this one's horrifying to transform. So was Ironhide, actually. Ironhide was just stressful. This one's really good. If you're going to get yourself one Scan Series figure, go for Ratchet. His Mechalife thing, he's supposed to have a gun that plugs in here, activates these gears, and it makes these little pieces on his arm rotate around and clip into place like it's part of his arm. I think I can actually get the gun for that pretty easily. You could probably just, like, because it's a figure that's repainted a bunch of times, so the guns exist in different colours. So I might just try and get one and plug it on there, because this is a figure I like enough that I'd want it to be complete. Anyway, it's Ratchet. Batsy Power Station had a table there. I got like a Megatron badge. Put that on at work. 3 badges. Can you believe it? And I also got this this adorable little Megatron. Is it going to recognise his face? No, it's barely recognising. But anyway, he's a little cutie, that little Megatron. I like that. That's going to go on my bag, because I don't think this will survive. Because he's kind of... There's just gappy bits in the rubber. I think this is going to fall apart pretty quickly. But it's £3, so... Got a little guy who is boxed. He is tiny. This is a Q Transformers Neon Genesis Evangelion Optimus Prime thing. It's Eva 01. I'll transform him so you can see him. Go on, Shinji, get in the robot. Tiny little thing. Anyway, that thing's tiny. I thought, they've done Evangelion Transformers a bunch of times, and this was like £15, which is probably a bit much for a tiny thing like this. It was still boxed. It was from this Japanese table, and it was one of the proper Japanese tables, where it's actually run by a pair of Japanese guys. I was listening to them talk, and I was like, should I say something in Japanese? And I decided not to, because I couldn't remember the word for expensive. It's takai. The word for expensive in Japanese is takai. Kore wa takai desu ne would have been, this is expensive, isn't it? I didn't want to say that. That would have been rude. Don't use that on them next year. But their stuff was expensive. But what they had was really cool, obscure repaints. They had like those, the Beast Wars Waspinators, where I think it's called Psy-Wasp or something like that. I can't remember. But it's like the Beast Wars figures with heavy remoulding to make them look robotic and stuff. It's really cool. But they had like some of those there and all sorts. They had like the Rodimus Optimus 2-pack animated figures in clear plastic, like I think like £90. Couldn't afford that. I didn't get a Rodimus this year. I always tried to get a Hot Rod or a Rodimus, and I failed miserably. But yeah, nice little Evangelion. I've wanted a Korokyu figure for ages. I've got a Korokyu Transformer. I've got 2 Rodimuses, both versions of him. But these are the later Q Transformers. There's a difference. You usually see tons of lockdowns everywhere. Usually because Spider Father Lee, who I chatted to a bunch of times, good lad, he let me do a hat pick on a black big convoy figure he brought. That's like one of the most expensive figures I've taken a picture of. Like last year it was 6 Night was the one I got. Yeah, that was a bit crazy. But yeah, he's been giving out these lockdowns for ages. He's been trying to get rid of them all. I think he's finally got rid of them all now. But it's really good to talk to Spider Father properly. Finally, we sort of only ever said hi, how are you doing every year. He actually called me out on Blue Sky, complaining that I hadn't said hi, that I hadn't chatted properly. But yeah, we got chatting for a bit about the figures and stuff. He's edging towards a complete collection. Absurd. This is what I got. I don't even know what the proper name is for this, but it's an Evangelion Optimus Prime thing. He transforms like dead quickly. You just go, there you go, done. Beautiful. Doesn't have a pull back and go motor though, like the Rodimus one does. That one's pretty cool. Anyway, put him down somewhere. Right. Should we talk blockies? Let's talk blockies. So I brought a box of Wave 3 Defender blockies to TFN because they're technically not out in the UK yet, but they've been available in China for a little while. So, I imported a box. It was like £16 for a whole box. But I was giving them out to people as we went around. I did also buy 3 boxes of the new Wave 4 Defender blockies. And me, being as good as I am at picking things out at random, out of the 3 boxes, I got 1 figure. I got 2 vehicle modes. Isn't that great? But one of them was Brawl. It was a little Blockies Brawl, who has a little port on him because they're doing a Blockies Bruticus, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty cool. we're going to have 2 Bruticuses in the space of a year. They were doing pre-orders and stuff. The Battersea Power Station were managing the pre-orders for the Devastator body parts you need to make that up. I saw a couple of people did have one of them on them though, so I don't know how they acquired them, but they got them. But yeah, I got Blockies Brawl vehicle mode. It's fun enough. Turret turns, so does the back one. Vehicle mode's not the most exciting ones to get. It feels like a consolation prize when you open those. I got the Wheeljack car. It's a little Lancia Stratos, very cute. Actually, had a fair few pieces on these two. These two both had quite a lot of pieces to them. That was pretty cool. But yeah, Lancia Stratos Wheeljack. Yeah. The best one though, this one genuinely is one of the best Blockies figures, I think. Rumble. This is great. This is brilliant. I love this. He's got plenty of parts. He's got a little weapon pack on his back. But the best part is plungers, his little rings, they actually go in and out. It's really simple. They've just basically got, 2 little V-shaped pegs on the top of them, and inside the arm it goes into a cone shape. So when you push that, it squeezes them and it squeezes itself back out. How cool is that? If they do Frenzy, I'm gonna have to try and get that, aren't I? But yeah, that was cool, little Blockies. And as mentioned, I was giving out a bunch of Blockies. I gave out 9 of the 12 packs I had, which is good going for me, considering, 1 year it took me most of the day to give out blooming the one Wild Wheel I had. But people love Blockies and don't necessarily like the Wild Wheel figure, do they? So, so I opened the 3 remaining ones when I got home. These aren't technically TFM pickups, but I got them. I brought them. I took them home with me, I guess. But I got the vehicle mode for Scavenger. And I got the vehicle mode for Mixmaster. 2 more vehicle modes out of the 3 packs I opened. And I was like saying to myself, I don't need to get the Blockies Devastator thing because, I don't want it. But now I've got 2 of the vehicle modes. Whatevs. But I did get 1 figure, and I got Shockwave. He's pretty neat. He's made entirely of clear plastic. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? The figure, not me. Yeah, it's all clear plastic, which is kind of cool because it's not like a chase variant. This is just the standard one. It's very pretty. Right, I'm going in size when it comes to the pickups now. There's quite a few still left to go. Every year when I'm at TFN, I try to get a Hot Rod. I try to get an animated figure. I try to get a Spy Changer. Technically failed on all 3 fronts there. Didn't get any animated. Didn't find a Hot Rod that I wanted. The only Hot Rod I saw that was within price range, because they all had really expensive ones, was another Classics Hot Rod, and I brought the Legends, the Takara version of Classics Hot Rod last year, and I have the regular version of Classics Hot Rod, so I didn't feel like I needed a third repaint. They actually had 2 different repaints on the Toy Fu table. They were gone by the end of the day though, so I probably would have caved and brought one towards the end of the day if I saw it, but I'm kind of happy that I didn't come away one. But I did get a Spy Changer, sort of. I got a GoBot. Technically, this is a GoBot from Generation 2. This is High Beam. This one's lovely, and I love these little guys. They're great. Little Hot Wheels size, Transformers. This is the 3rd one I've got. I got Ironhide and Prowl 2 in previous years. But yeah, these guys just, nice and simple. Whoop. Nice and simple, and you get a little Hot Wheels car, and that's a lovely shade of green on that. Really good. These things are just great to fiddle with. Worth having one on your desk just to get and transform and mess with. This was actually my last pickup of the day. I don't know anything about this figure really until just before I started recording this. I did a little research. But this is called Transphere Defender, and it's a little Shockwave, and it is a KO of the Iron Factory Shockwave figure. And the only real difference in it is, as far as I can tell, is that his feet and knee and shin, feet, thighs and biceps are all done in pink rather than silver. He's got a very loose knee, he's got these loose joints. It was £5 though, so I literally bought it at the end of the day. I had £5 left and I just saw it on one table at the back and I was like, oh, why not? Let's have that. Does it transform? It does. I'll have it. He turns into a little gun. Apparently you can there's a bigger figure that can hold these. He's got little pegs there to peg into a hand on a figure. I have no idea which one it is. I don't know much about Iron Factory figures. This seems like something that Dr. Lockdown can answer for me. He did a review of the Iron Factory version, but I don't think he mentioned who holds it. It's actually alright. Very simple transformation. Turns into a slightly janky gun. But yeah, loose. There's a bit of G1 I picked up from the Space Bridge. They had this set for £40, and it had a little sticker on it saying opened, stickers applied. And I was like, whatever, 40 quid, I'll get this. It's the Platinum Edition Astro Train and Blitzwing 2-pack, where they've got these quite unique colour schemes. Apparently, Blitzwing's based on Flywheels, who you remember is like a burgundy pink plane and a brown tank, which works quite well on him, as I think, as a concept. Yeah, I've got the tank the right way round. That is the wrong way round. Okay, it's just a cartoon animation error. But yeah, that's pretty cool. 40 quid for the two of these. Joke's on them. The stickers are applied in the box anyway. There is no sticker sheet to apply. It's just like this. It was sealed on the inside. Like the clamshell was completely taped down and had never been opened. So, got a good one. This Astro Train feels so much better than the reissue from 2020 that I got a few years ago. I think it was a Walmart reissue and some found their way over here. Everything feels nicer on it compared to that. The plastic feels more solid. The only thing is, the sliders on his legs, they are not going to hold at all. I'll show you. Just to give you an idea, if you put him down, it's like his legs just collapse completely. There's no friction there. They're not. Yeah, the other one stands okay, but they sort of, the other Astro Train I've got, he stands okay, but they do slide a little bit out of place. This one, just you put him down on a table, and what he's got left of his thighs just disappears. But that said, it feels so much better to transform than the other one. And Blitzwing, this is my first G1 Blitzwing, and he's kind of great. Good stuff. Love him. Yeah, he's got some interesting pieces on there. The way the arms work and everything. There is a lot of swinging the turret back and forth to try and get clearance for things. I don't think you can take the turret off on this one. On some versions of it you can. These are great. 40 quid for the pair. I thought that was pretty good. This is the second time I've got a Platinum Edition 2-pack for a silly low price that was way better condition than I expected it to be in. Because I got the Megatron Optimus and Megatron Classics 2-pack ages ago. The one with the red Megatron and the Optimus with the see-through parts on them. I've got them here. I can't reach them because they're behind other stuff. I got that for 50 quid sealed. Anyway, that's great. Let's talk about the most expensive thing I picked up at TF Nation. It's Iccard. I got an Iccard. Look at him go. Look. I got Iccard finally. He's complete. He has got his weapon attached to his back, his little blue bit there. I've needed this for a couple of years because I got a taco tank 2 years ago, but it wasn't complete. It was just the taco tank with the bike inside it. When I picked up that taco tank, I wasn't worried about it being complete as long as it had the bike in there. It would have been nice to have a complete one, but it was 50 quid for the one I got. I'm not going to complain. But I've been after an Iccard for a while. Last year, I only saw one there, and they wanted like 75 quid for it. This one was 45 quid, which is perfectly fine. Picking back up. How did that fly out of my hand? This one was 45 quid, which is perfectly fine by me. I'm happy with that. Good stuff. But yeah, complete. They had a 30 quid one, which was missing the weapon. So that this little bit here, don't lose it. It's worth 15 quid. I don't know how you lose this really, though. It really sits in really well. It's not one of those ones that's going to fall out by accident. But yeah, Iccard, he's great. He's going to get attached to Taco Tank. One day I will find room to put Taco Tank actually out on display properly because he's a big lad. Right now he's in a tub. But yeah, I'm really happy to have Taco Tank. All I need to complete the Taco Tank now is the missiles for the bike that's inside it. I don't have those, and I don't have the water squirter. The water squirter seems to just vanish. I don't know where I can get that from. Fantastic. I would have settled for a Clawjaw, to be honest, because in the anime in Beast Wars 2nd, I think it was, or Neo, Iccard dies, and Clawjaw Scuba takes over control of the Taco Tank. But I'm happy to have Iccard. This is the second time I've had one of this mould. I had the Transmetal Clawjaw years ago, and I put it on eBay, and it went to a German buyer who paid like 45, 50 quid for it. So I feel like I got money for that Clawjaw, and then I spent the exact same amount on Iccard. He's having trouble standing every now and again, but I think it's because you're supposed to angle his legs back a little, and then he'll stand properly. He was all right in the hall, though. I got a good pose out of him on the picture. Nearly end. 2 more to go. This one I'm going to do now. I was going to leave it till the end, but this one was the biggest bargain I got at the con. Do you know what I haven't talked about is the t-shirt I got at the con, which I'm wearing right now. I'll do that at the end. So the biggest bargain I got at the con was this thing. This is X-Transbots Springer. It's called Virtus. Springer. This was reduced to 30 quid because Omega Lock their first time at the con. I've used Omega Lock a couple of times. They're good store. Give them a go. Their shipping is like crazy fast. But they were selling this for 30 quid because it has loose ankles. But I've got to be honest, the ankles are perfectly fine. I had this stood up on my desk earlier today, standing there perfectly statuesque. Didn't have any troubles at all. If anything, the thigh's a little bit loose on them. But also, what's the problem with the ankles being loose? You've got a flight stand with it. Just put them on the flight stand, man. But 30 quid for this. This thing's like 145, 150 quid normally. I looked on eBay earlier and someone was selling one with the replacement shoulders because they did like plastic replacement shoulders. They're die cast on this one because the paint chips easily. Someone was selling the one with the replaced shoulders for like 300 quid or something. Pro tip, if you do get one of these, people worry about the shoulders not having enough clearance to get him out of the body to transform him, right? But you don't need to. All you got to do is engage the ab crunch and it'll move them out the way of the little bit in the middle that causes them to scratch, and you can just poke them through fine. I haven't got any chippage on there, I don't think. I think there's one tiny bit of chippage on there. But that's why they replaced it with plastic. But I don't know whether or not the figure's good. The transformation's got some clearance problems, and it's really heavy. Like, you have no idea how heavy this is. But I appreciate it. It's decent enough. He's got a ton of accessories. Comes with a flight stand. He's got this like big plastic disc you can make that you can put on the helicopter mode, so it looks like his rotor blades are like spinning, which is kind of cool. It seems alright. Just really heavy. So much die cast in it. Anyway. Oh god, he fell off the flight stand. I forgot to mention the t-shirt I got. This t-shirt's from Lucan Tees. I even mentioned Lucan Tees earlier and forgot to mention his Toy Story. It's Devastator chasing Buzz and Woody. It's not really great on camera there. Check his website out, you'll see it. Right, last thing. This is actually the second last thing I picked up, but I wanted to do this last because it's quite nice. I've never had one of these before. I got myself that recent reissue of G1 Blaster. I've put Steeljaw's guns on his arms. Reissue of Blaster, the one in the like cartoon colours. I never had a Blaster when I was a kid. Never even saw one, I don't think. A couple of my friends had Soundwave, but Blaster was like the other one that you didn't see too often. But this figure's pretty great. I kind of love him. He's just a big lad. It's surprisingly big guy. I quite like this little detail. If you press the play button down, it locks in place until you press stop, and then it pokes back up, isn't it? That's kind of neat. There you go. But yeah, he comes with Steeljaw, who's inside there in cassette form. I've got him the wrong way around. Should have him that way around, really. But he's a surprisingly good figure. Surprisingly articulated. He's got elbows. You can even bend his shoulder back if you want. I thought his arms were meant to go like that originally because the fists pull out this way round, but he has wrist rotation. They're not. They're meant to go like that. Crazy. And he's got a head movement. Isn't that neat? But never had one of these before, and he's big and chunky and fun. Can't complain, really. I need more of those retro G1 figures to come out. I think they're running out of useful moulds, aren't they? But apparently with Missing Link, they're using those to make new moulds. Like they're designing them in a way where they can make moulds of the original figures out of the new sort of tweaked Missing Link designs. A lot of people were getting Missing Link, Sunstreaker and Corden at TFN. That was kind of cool to see. I would do a review on them, on Corden, but I don't know, everyone's already talked about it. I need to get on with doing some reviews. There was one a week and a bit ago. I did a review of Armada Smokescreen. Feel free to check that out. But yeah, this is great. This is just a blaster. I've got a blaster in my collection now. I got Ramhorn in that pack that comes with Bombshell. So I've had Ramhorn for a few weeks now, which is like my first G1 cassette. And it's fantastic. Apparently, did you know, with the original Microchange toy, you couldn't actually fit his little cassette guys in the chest compartment. That was a space for a little radio thing, because it actually worked as a working radio. And they took that out of there, and when they brought the toy over and made it so the cassettes could fit in his chest, they took out the little parts that would get in the way of it. You actually stored the cassettes in his back on the original Microchange version. I would love this in twin cast colours, if at all possible. That would be great. Or they should call him Billy. I want a version of twin cast that's actually called Billy on the box. I don't, I make him like Janky or something. Give him a voice box in there so that he like talks in a really bad dub. But yeah, Twincast, isn't he great? Not Twincast, that's Blaster. But yeah, pro tip, you can put those on the sides if you want somewhere to put them, because all his holes are 5mm ports, so you can Evo Fusion him. This is where Evo Fusion started. But anyway, I've been recording this for 50 minutes now. I had a lot to go through. Next year, what I think I might do, because it'll make it easier for me transporting all this stuff home on the coach, is probably just buy bigger stuff. Just I say bigger, more expensive stuff. If I buy less but more expensive stuff, I'll do better. Or I'll use the money I take with me for toys to buy food and drink at the con, in which case I'll have probably about 1/3 the amount of money for figures, and I won't have to transport so much back. And this video will be over in 5 minutes. So anyway, I did a really bad job of telling you how the convention was this year. It was great. Probably forgot all sorts of stuff, but thanks to everyone who was, there this year, chatted with me this year. It's good lad I chatted in the bar with Krisha. Can't remember his name now. It's really bad. I'm a bad person. But yeah, he was a cool dude. Just sat there having good times, just chatting with people I don't know about Transformers, and a few people who I do know. Chatted to Stuart Webb for a bit. He's a cool dude. He's well into his tokusatsu. Follow him on Blue Sky, and he'll just talk about like how much he's obsessed with Kagalisa from Go Onja. I've got a warning on my screen. It's overheating. Anyway, I should stop now because my camera's overheating in this heat. It's really hot. Catch you later. See you at TFN next year, and I'll try to get another review out sooner rather than later. Bye!